welcome back. We're here for another month. Eric, good to see you again. Patrick, thanks for joining us for the first time.
Yeah, excited to be part of the gang.
You are part of the gang.
New faces, it's good. Break up the monotony. Get some the other faces that make this place go.
Yep. Make it all better. So October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and unfortunately, it's prevalent in our industry.
Well, every month should be Cybersecurity
Right?
Awareness Month.
So, Patrick, why does it matter to agents? Why does it matter to our listeners?
Real estate fraud and cybercrime and secure closings are directly tied to an agent's reputation and their name. And the most successful agents in real estate, they trade on their name, right? They start off at a fledgling state, and over time they become a trusted resource. And there's always going to be different types of threats and obstacles that they have to overcome. And the new one, as tech continues to advance, is cybercrime and cybersecurity.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So Patten has a lot of resources on our website, and we are constantly monitoring and updating and have staff, more staff all the time to help with these threats. So let's talk about real estate fraud, one type of fraud, and there's a lot of different kinds of real estate fraud. So what are we seeing the most, Eric?
Most of the attempts at really fraud in general, and cyber kind of ties into everything, right? I mean, all communication for the most part is done by way of email. There's a lot of text message. It's less and less in-person dialogue. I mean, at this point in time in this business, we're receiving contracts or getting contact without ever meeting sometimes customers face to face. You know, you've got your long-standing customer base that you've established, but new customers and clients come in all the time, and so sometimes you haven't met these folks. Sometimes you get you have folks that are sending you contracts or offers. Hey, I want to open up title, move on, and they fall into our process and we go. So one of the challenges, or one of the things that we often see, the red flags, and this is pretty rampant across the just the industry in general, is a lot of lot deals, right? Vacant land transactions, low price points, oftentimes quick close times, and then you'll get a contract in. It's for a vacant piece of property, and then there are red flags that pop up along the way once the file is in process that draws your attention to the fact that, hey, something may not be right. And so I think from a real estate fraud perspective, that's one of the ones that we see most often. The other thing that really jumps to mind as you bring it up, and more and more people hear about it today, there are national commercials like Title Lock and these sorts of things. There is the ease of transitioning ownership that people are become more aware of, that fraudsters have become more aware of by utilizing the county clerk's office. And so just simply recording documents and then changing it, and folks don't know. It's one of those out of sight, out of mind. You think everything is moving. So you have companies like Title Lock out there who are trying to trade on this, and I'm not saying it's not a good thing at all, but that's where we start to see it. So then there's also opportunities. They sensationalize it a little bit. You're not really taking out loans on people's homes as easily as they make it seem. But there is the transition oftentimes of like these lot deals where vacant pieces of property, it's been sitting for a long time. Somebody goes and files a deed of record, and then all of a sudden now somebody else owns it, and then they want to hurry up and try to flip it and sell it and so on. And so that's really where we see the most of these things pop up.
And the vacant land fraud works for the fraudsters a bit because it's vacant land. The owners may live out of state. Like some vacant land, people are not living there. They're not going by often. So if a for sale sign pops up for 2 weeks, because what I understand is a lot of times they'll sell it for under market. They'll get a quick close. The fraudster's getting money because they're able to do it because there's not someone living there and able to protect it.
That's very true, and dead on, right? We talked about this last time. A lot of the transactions that are a little more prevalent today. You know, you have generational properties. You've got folks who have inherited deals or inherited pieces of property. They don't realize they've even inherited it. They don't remember it. It gets kind of out of sight, out of mind. It was passed down in the will, and those are the ones that seem to be really susceptible
Yeah.
these sorts of things. Yeah, for sure.
So we've got a marketing piece on our website for anybody, educational piece. It's called 9 Common Instances of Real Estate Fraud and 7 Ways to Protect Against It. I just want to tell a personal experience with one of the, we're not going to hit on all of them, but it's there for someone to dive deeper. But rental fraud. So as you all know, I have 2 boys in college. And, they were looking on Facebook Marketplace. They found a great deal. And, they're young. And so they were ready to jump on this, but they wanted upfront money. They wanted quite a bit of money to hold it, for a deposit. And I was like, whoa, 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 I smell a rat, And sure enough, I did just a Google search about, what's going on with college student housing rent fraud. And that was the number one way it was happening. So I think fraud across the board, right? If it looks too good to be true, it is. If they're asking for money up front, quick closing, quick big deposits, that type of thing, those are just a few red flags. Any other flags you guys can think of?
Oh, no, I think you hit on those pretty well. Anybody who's trying to push really quickly, I think the other ones that come to mind are, and this is more our own internal controls that we continuously monitor when there discrepancies, right? When there's a discrepancy between a deed and the county appraisal district and the records there, when there are deeds that have been done without title insurance, right? Cash deeds. If there's a recent deed that's been done and then it's looking to sell really, really quickly, those sorts of things are the flags. And again, those are more internal industry types of red flags that we need to be well aware of. We are monitoring and paying attention to. To be able to operate on or react to quickly and really vet the situation. Less a little bit for the external. Sometimes the agents, they don't always know. You get notified by somebody, say, hey, I want you to list this, and it's hard. It's going to be hard for them without opening title and getting into it to be able to make the determinations as to whether or not it's a legitimate deal.
Yeah, what's on the deed,
Sure.
et cetera. Right along with real estate fraud is the one that we have on our radar screen every hour of every day, right, is wire fraud.
Yeah.
Let's talk about wire fraud, guys.
Well, I think it's important because, buyers, they trust their agents. A lot of these times, sometimes you're going to have a buyer that's bought. This isn't their first time buying a house, right? And in real estate, with every transaction, sometimes it might be the first time that somebody's buying a house, and they may not be as vigilant as somebody who's as well seasoned and has bought houses before. So they're going to be looking at their agent to basically hold their hand throughout the entire process, and they might be naive when it comes to a lot of the things and a lot of the threats that might be out there to them. So they look at them to guide them through every step of the process, and when wire fraud hits, they turn to them for answers, right?
Some of the things that you guys do on the sales side to make sure that the agents are well equipped, right? So what are some of the things?
Sure, we got some tools that we're constantly and always evaluating our tools and making sure that they're as up to date and as preventative as possible. We have certified ID and we have ZOCM, which daily it's a security monitoring that makes sure that everything is on the up and is legit, and it gives reassurances to agents. But again, every tool is only as good as if you use it, and only as good as if you know about it. So as far as making sure that at the forefront we let everybody know that we do use ZOCM, that we do use certified ID, and that the agents take that information and they share that also with their buyers.
Yeah, I think to piggyback on that, it's just coming from a seminar and talking about technology changes in the marketplace and how fast things are changing, and just to piggyback on what Patrick was saying, you've got people who've come in who've maybe not done a transaction in quite some time. Then you got people who are doing transactions all the time, and both have potential shortcomings and areas of real weakness, right? You've got people who are really savvy, doing things a lot, and they become very, very numb and accustomed to doing it, right? And they get accustomed to doing things the way we do everything else. Our banking, our signing e-signing documents, so everything is just right at your fingertips, and so it numbs you to the potential for issues and makes you feel like everything's going to be fine. And then on the flip side, you got people who have it and they're ultra conservative and ultra concerned about what the next steps are going to be. Am I doing this right? And then by being ultra conservative and super concerned, they oftentimes take steps in the wrong direction and then fall for some of these hey, I want you to run to the store and buy me some gift cards sorts of scams, right? And that's very akin to what happens here. So we do, to Patrick's point, we have these tools, and sometimes these tools can feel a little cumbersome, right? Sometimes these tools can make the customer and even the agents, why are we having to go through this extra step?
Yeah.
And what we want to stress is we only want to do this to ensure, as best we possibly can, the safety and the security of the funds, of people's monies, of their ability to buy their homes. These are really large-scale transactions, and we take it really, really seriously. But sometimes it requires a little bit of extra steps and people being involved. And so we recognize that can be a frustration point, right? We don't, and so I think Patrick and his team do a really good job of communicating, what these tools are to the agents, because we're typically engaging with our referral partners and establishing those relationships with them, and so they do a really good job of explaining why. But we'd love to take it further, and I think having well-equipped team members that way to be able to do so and deliver those messages helps get the message out to Mr. and Ms. Jones, the actual consumer. And that's what we got. As an industry, it's really incumbent upon us as a whole to keep reaching out to them, touching them, informing them, even if it is only once every 5 years or 7 years, they're actually going to do one of these transactions.
Well, I think the closing process as well, I think it's especially now, it's a process where there are so many different cooks in the kitchen, right, that are putting something in the pot. And if everybody's being vigilant and everybody's making sure they're following the recipe and doing everything straight, it only takes is one person to not follow the recipe and do something incorrectly, to not be using Zochem, or to think that it was too cumbersome and say, it's fine, it's okay, my agent's got it, and it's not, right? It's that fragile. It's that. So the communication aspect, to Eric's point, right, making sure that everybody's rowing in the same direction, especially now more than ever, it's crucial. It's crucial to ensure that the closing takes place and everybody gets the money and everybody gets their keys and everybody comes with a smile on their face, and then they come back and it's a good experience.
Yeah. I know that when I have an agent that's newer that will talk to me, maybe a friend or a family member, or even a friend or family member that's doing a transaction as a consumer, and they'll ask me, oh, you're involved with the title company. What should I know? Number one thing is you need to make sure that talk to your title company about what their wire fraud procedures are and make sure you follow them, because it is at least $350 million a year.
A year.
Yeah, and that was 2021.
Yeah, it's probably significantly higher now.
Yeah.
The bad actors, this is their full-time job. This is what they do, and it only takes one for them to have a massive financial windfall, and they're hitting literally thousands of agents and title companies day after day after day after day, trying to put in phishing emails, get the information, get into the systems. And so really, sometimes for all of the tools and everything, and you have to use them. We have to use certified. We want you guys, Zochem is really good. Internally, we use what's called the Shield as well. So in addition to certified, we use the Quality of System Shield, and it's a really good confidence level is where we're sending the money. But then the other part about our title production software is everything is sent through a secure portal, and we do not vary from that, right? We try to pull our customers and clients out of the email realm and put them into the secure portal so they can't we will not have the infiltration that way. There's not the potential security gaps that are there. But for all of those, and the tools are really amazing, and I can't tout them enough, and very confident in them. But at the heart of it, it's really some simple things that really can avoid this, and it's just taking those extra steps. And I can't stress this enough. Number one is, at least from our standpoint, we will never, ever change our wiring instructions.
Yes.
Right? They will never, ever change. It's the same ones we send once and we send through the portal. Those are the only wiring instructions that our customers are ever going to get, ever.
So a phone call or an email.
That's the other part.
Hey, there's new wiring instructions.
It's false. And at the very least, it demands a follow-up, a phone call to a verified number that you found.
Not the number on the email.
Not the number on the email. That's exactly right. And that's but it's so easy to fall into that realm.
Yeah.
So that's number one. We're never going to change our wiring instructions. But then the second one is exactly what you just said. It's even if you haven't gotten any kind of change in email, it's still verified. Again, you're sending $100,000.
Yeah, how important is this to you?
$500,000, $1 million, whatever it is. Just pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Call the number that came or that is on a website and just say, I'm about to. I got your wire instructions. I'm about to send my closing funds. Just want to make sure this is the right place.
Yeah.
And we can't stress it enough. And while we would love to pick up the phone and for us to call, that's also a red flag because the bad actors do that. They call Mr. and Miss Jones. Hey, just wanted to let you know we know that your closing is coming up, I know we said go ahead and send in a couple days in advance. That way we can give you a discount on your. And these things happen. And we've caught them in the past.
This is a segment that is not going to go away, and with every passing month, not every passing year, because it's moving that fast. With every passing month, these bad actors are they're morphing. They're finding different ways to get in, because while we're shutting doors and people like Zachem and Certified ID and various other title companies, and not just in the title industry, obviously, are finding ways to defend against that. They find other ways in. AI is a really scary thing. To the phone call aspect of things, they could match the voice of the escrow officer that you'd been speaking to with the same mannerisms. Right?
Yeah.
They might even be able to send a video that says, "Hey, it's me, real quick. Could you switch those things?" So it is very scary, right? But it was you that called me and told me to change it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Nope, that's still not going to be happening, right? So it's not going to go away. It's something that's very prevalent, that we're very aware of, that we take very seriously. I mean, we've been doing this for a while now. And it's such a large part. If it's on every email, at the bottom of every signature, we're sitting here talking about it here today. And like I said, we've been doing this for a while. When was the last time you remember us saying, or the first time? What year did this? Hey, this is a problem. This is a real thing.
Oh, I mean, it goes back as far as we were seeing them trying to get into the mix in 14, 15, 16. But it really, as we got closer to 2020, is when you really started to see, and it, like you said, it changes, right? I mean, there was a lot of infiltration where the bad actors would come to the title company post-closing and say, hey, I know I gave you those wiring instructions to send the money, my proceeds here. I just talked to my financial advisor. They'd like me to send them here instead. I'm going to send you. And it's, you feel like, oh, I just got this email. They literally just left the closing office.
Right.
Okay, yeah, this is, so then you have to be aware of those things. But now it has changed. And look, we subscribe to as many of these platforms as we can to ensure as much security as we possibly can for our customers and clients. At the end of the day, there is still the opportunity for the bad actors to get in for multiple different reasons.
Yep.
And I know Patrick touched on it a minute ago about our daily security monitoring. We have multiple different platforms. We have the highest level of security inside of Microsoft. We have an external 24/7 monitoring system through a third party that this is what they do. And in addition to several other things that are tied in from an IT perspective to really give us an immediate, hey, somebody's logging in from somewhere they're not supposed to be. We shut it down. None of our employees can log in to our websites from unknown IP addresses. So we have protocols in place. And even with those protocols, it pains me to say this, we're still susceptible, and we have been.
There's human beings that work for.
And it's oftentimes no fault of their own.
Right.
But what ends up happening is that it just takes one mistake, one click, one button internally, right, on hundreds and hundreds of emails for a bad actor to have an opportunity to try to make something happen, and then they run with it. And that can happen inside the title company. It can happen in the real estate offices. And a lot of agents, and I'm not putting this on agents either, it just happens. Some of these are unprotected accounts. You've got Gmail accounts, Yahoo accounts, these easy to establish, domains that are not as well secured. And so there's lots of entry points. And once those entry points, they gain access, it comes from all different angles. And so we just really have to be vigilant. We have to be aware. And at the heart of it, we plead with our customer base. Like, please don't get frustrated when we ask you to go through certified, right? We really want you to spend the time, the energy, and the effort to do that for your own safety and security. And it goes both ways. It can come in from the first time you send us money, you can send it through a certified account. And when we send you money back, we verify you through certified to make sure it's going the right place. We will also use our internal product through Qualia, which is fantastic, called Shield. That also helps. We know that those accounts are valid and correct, and we've sent them. And that also helps very much with the payoff side of things. So, and then there are other ways to do it, but at the heart of it, just pick up the phone before you send the money. Contact us at our main numbers that are on the websites, right? And that's going to be your best way of making sure that you're going to get to the right place.
Well, you guys were talking about the timeline that this really started, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But I mean, they have gotten so much more sophisticated, the bad actors, and they continue to. I'm going to age myself how long I've been in title. But I remember before cybercrime was an issue at all, it was cashier's checks. Fraudulent cashier's checks that we were on the lookout for. And so this is on our radar screen all day, every day. But some people haven't bought and sold real estate in the last 5 to 7 years. So coming in and having these safeguards is kind of a pain to them. We understand that, but it's definitely there for their protection because unfortunately the bad actors are well-funded, very sophisticated, and real quick, a very good friend of mine, and here's the thing, sophisticated business owner, tech savvy, and they got taken. Yep. And if you remember, we care about this enough. We asked them to come in and meet with us. They didn't close at our title company, but they did close at a large title company. It was a new home build, and they got, if I can recall it, they didn't even get an email. They got a text message. And this was quite a while ago that the wiring instructions had changed. We need you to go. And it was, a couple days within their closing. They went down to their bank, which I remember it was a large bank. They were with the bank manager going back and forth on the phone with the fraudster to get the wire changed to the bad actor's account. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you recall all these details. Luckily, they were able to get the majority, if not all, of their money back. And real quick, let's talk about the insurance, number one, that we have in place through our tools and resources. And then also, if someone is defrauded, what are the steps that they should take immediately?
Yeah, well, so anything that gets sent through certified is got a policy through them. They have an insurance policy, and so if we can verify the funds and we verify the individual through certified, then there is up to $1 million in coverage for a $1 million wire, right? So that is the beefiest. Protection, and again, where we recommend all of our customers go and verify their wired instructions and making sure that they are who they are. So that's I guess as it relates to what the best way to do it. If you're notified that something has taken place, I'm going to tout certified again a little bit right now. Also, is that if what we do is we immediately contact the FBI on our customer's behalf, but we also ask the customers to contact the FBI, file what's called the IC3 form. That gets the ball rolling. But then the second part, just as quickly, what we do is we have them contact Certified's recovery team. They're fantastic. Nate over there is just top notch, and they are super well connected. We have been able to get, and this is readily saying we've been victims of this. Right? We have had customers who have been
Everyone
victims
has. Every title company has.
Of fraud. But when these things happen, it's how fast you respond. What are your protocols in place, and how do you go and resolve the problem? And so. We have been able to have significant recovery on wires that have been sent out because we acted quickly, and then we encourage and we have the individuals act quickly, and we want to be a resource for that. Again, this is not that this is going to happen on every transaction or anything of that nature, right? And it's a sensitive subject, but we were talking before we came on camera. You have to own the situation. You have to own the reality of where you are. You can't just duck your head in the sand no matter how much you just don't want to talk about it. It's frustrating. Yeah. I get it, right?
It's not a sexy subject.
Well, but it's a real one.
It's real.
So you have to, and no one is perfect. And so when you're dealing with these sorts of things, this is public service, right? That's why we do this. We want to share with our customer base what we know in this profession and what we've learned, and figure out ways to thwart those things. And so in order to do that, here's how you make it work. And one of them also is we want to work with you to try and do that. So to recover, we will work with our customers to put them in the right positions to figure out where to go. If we follow those first set of guidelines that we presented, and we won't. There are no problems. We're almost with 100% certainty say, if you contact your title company with a verification phone call before sending in your funds, you will not be a victim of wire fraud.
Yeah.
Right? If you submit your wires to the same wiring instructions that you initially get when you put in your initial earnest money deposit, or if you go through Zochem, and if you follow those same directions, right, and you go through you will not be a victim of wire fraud. If you look at the bottom of our emails where we say we only bank with Bank United, right, and you get wiring instructions that say Chase, you should know something.
Well, even like First Bank United, like people do, the Texas Bank United, the fraudsters again get more savvy.
Well, they try to find the other banks that are similar, and yeah, for sure. But again, our wiring instructions will not change. So if you follow those directions, it's almost with 100% certainty you will not be a victim of fraud. But if those things, if something happens and fraud takes place, we will work together hand in hand to get everything recovered, and we have other resources to do that. I think that's kind of, yeah. If we suspect you're a victim of fraud, if you suspect you've been a victim of wire fraud, you want to contact the FBI. You got to please let us know as your title company. Immediately contact your bank right away, whoever the sending institution is, because what will happen there is that the faster that your bank is aware, they can put in a recall notice to the other bank and help freeze those funds too. So you're working it from every angle, and again, it's a proactive thing where the individual has to be responsible for doing something since it's their money. We can only take the ball so far.
But we're a good resource to help them through that process.
We will help quarterback it as best we possibly can. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Patrick, every month we come out with fresh pieces, and I know your team really utilizes them to help agents stay in contact with their database and build their business. So the first one is community service for your business.
I can tell you, we greatly appreciate it, and we don't take it for granted the really knockout job that the marketing team has done with those pieces, which enables us to provide value and get in front of a lot of agents, because it does provide value to them, because ultimately they're trying to provide value to Mr. and Mrs. Smith who are trying to buy a house. So the more we can make them shine, the better that they do shine.
Yeah. So we're trying to give those agents a little cheat sheet on how to leverage. There's also a piece specifically for 20 food banks that need volunteers. Lots of people tend to volunteer around Thanksgiving, and it is needed for families in need more food during Thanksgiving, Christmas, and those times when the kids are home from school.
Yeah, from a community standpoint, community service standpoint, charitable, seasonal activities, seasonal to-dos, all these types of tidbits of information that a lot of times they feel like they're not that yet. They are valuable, right? They are important. They are things that people look at and they say, okay, that is something that I want to be involved with, or that's something that I could take and I can harness and I can make that important for my business or for my community.
Yeah, and the last one to mention is 10 ways to volunteer this holiday season. And then the next one I'm going to jump into that is a resource that is near and dear to your heart is hunting and fishing in Texas.
Yes.
Okay, there's a great one on networking tips for Q4 and setting up 2026 success.
Well, yeah. Well, listen, I think it's never too early to look at the horizon and to look ahead, right? And right about now is the time within our own company and our own teams and our sales team that we look at and says, hey, 2026, you're going to blink twice, and especially with the holidays, it's going to be right around the corner, right? So setting yourself up and having a goal and knowing what you need to achieve and the checkpoints you need to be able to go through and accomplish in order to get those goals is increasingly important, right? And especially as we finish up Q3 and we're starting to roll into Q4, making sure that you're staying on task for the year as it comes to an end, and then looking ahead to the new year, to 2026, and knowing what you're going to want to do. Because if not, then you wait and it's all jumbled and it's January, says, oh, what are my goals this year?
Yeah. Or you turn over and it's Thanksgiving and then you don't have time, And I know
something you say all the time too, for whatever, just to jump in and from a networking standpoint, right? It's like, can't do anything about today. You really can't do anything about tomorrow. All you can do is you can plant seeds, but seeds take some time to, they got to grow. Yeah. You got to tend to them. You got to hoe, you got to seed, you got to take, and then it's harvest. So.
And it's consistency too. It's all those types of things. But it all starts with, you have to have an organized plan, right? You have to organize, plan, and you have to look at it. And a lot of times that means looking at a calendar, because these things don't happen overnight, right? And it's consistency, and you have to do the right things over and over and over again. And then, but it's very seasonal, right? So you can't just do the same thing over and over again. What's happening, and this is why the marketing department is so great, right? What's happening this quarter? What's happening this month that you could take advantage of, right? Whether it be charitable things that you can do, or whether it be, hey, it's the fall harvest, whatever it might be, and these are some important things that you need to be able to take advantage of. Whoever can best harness and has enough of that flexibility to change what they're doing to coincide with the advantages of what's happening in that season, those are the people that are really be able to take off.
Yeah. And I know an agent could go to the website, and this piece is up there, effective networking strategies and other business planning tips. But really, to get the power is Patten has a fabulous sales team that can be the true partner to these agents and show them how to utilize these tools and create a plan.
We've done such a really, I'm really proud of it, and really proud of what you guys done on the marketing. We've done a really good job of putting together so many tools and so many resources, but a lot of times they're unknown, or they're unseen, or they're not even used. And it really, we were talking about it earlier, it's really only as good as if you use it. So I highly encourage, we do as a sales team, but I encourage all of our customers and potential customers to definitely engage with their escrow officers, engage with their sales team, and to get online on our website. And there's a wealth of information and a wealth of resources that we make available to them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. So yes, several things up there, but contact Patten Title. If you don't have one, you can get matched up to a sales rep that can walk you through what's the best tips and tools for you. All right, we've got some headlines and milestones to celebrate.
Sure, yeah.
So
every month we got hitting some big ones. So yeah.
Wow.
So the first one we've got, let's see, who's the longest tenured on here?
Tristan Henry is coming up on will be in her 8th year with us. So that's really something to celebrate. Yeah, she's really done an amazing job of growing. And
Yep,
really.
She's there at our River Oaks office. And then we've got Erica Gaffey and Ramez that have been with us 6 years.
Man, the time flies.
A lot of these names, you look at them, and it's great, right? And I think that speaks a lot to our culture, right? We see a lot of people come in, and you blink twice, and they've been here 8 years, and they've been here 6 years. You know, like, really, has it been that long? And it has. And it's really great to see a lot of them grow as well, because a lot of them come in, and we definitely believe in promoting from within. So these people come in sometimes at an entry-level position. They might come in as a receptionist or a dofi, as we like to call them, and then they become an escrow assistant or become an escrow officer. We find another need for them. The important thing is we're hiring the right types of people, and these are the right types of people, so they are to be commended for their tenure at Patten Title Company.
Absolutely, and several one-year anniversaries that I do believe many, if not all of them, will be with us for a long time to come. So Deidre Sawyer.
She's in Kingwood, great addition to our Kingwood team, and escrow officer, really a stalwart out there, very well seasoned. So we were very lucky to have her join the team out in the Kingwood market.
Yeah, and right here where we're filming, we've got in West Austin Emily Saxon, escrow officer, who's really catching her stride.
That's my point exactly. It's been a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, and really excited about her continued growth here in the West Austin market, and continuing to cultivate her client base. So it's been great.
2 more. We just continue to grow. Andrea Carrillo.
Yeah, so really excited to have Andrea on board, and she really has helped round out the team. So she's a great addition.
And
Absolutely.
last but not least is one on my team who's just really picked it up from day one and been such an asset to us, and that's Emily Barrett. We're thrilled Emily's been with us.
Love having her around. It's great seeing her in Houston. We know she does a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To wrap it up, fraud prevention would mean stronger client trust and more repeat business for our agents. So again, any additional information, training, reach out to your sales rep or escrow officer, and we can help with that.
Yeah, we really want to just reiterate that, we want to do everything we can to be helpful and making sure that the deals get closed the way they're supposed to, but we also have to appeal to our customers and clients to be a part of that as well, so that we can we all work together to really keep these bad actors from infiltrating. So
and something we put a lot of emphasis on is the 3 things that make us unique as a your chosen title company, and one of them is a true partner. And so partnering with Patten, we take it seriously, and we will provide safer closings and happier clients for those realtors.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hassle. Look, nobody likes going to the airport and having to take off their shoes and go through the line and take off their belt, right? Well, that's changing a little bit, right? But it's a hassle, right? It's a pain in the butt that nobody likes to do it, but it's there for a reason, right? It's the same thing here. This is going to be it's not. You wish you could just go there and say, "Here, give me the keys," and it's not that simple nowadays anymore.
Bring a personal check.
It's going to be. It could be a little cumbersome, but it's again, it goes back to how important is that $50,000, $100,000, $500,000 that you're going to be wiring over.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Patrick and Eric, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Love having you here, Patrick. I hope you join us next month, and see you next month in November.
All right. Sure. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.